one of the organizers of this rally to protest Valero's interference in our local elections. They are spending a massive amount of money. We know they've raised over $230,000 for elections in a town of 28,000. They have sent out mailers that would let you believe that our mayor and vice mayor endorsed their chosen candidates, when in fact they endorsed Carrie Birdseye and Terry Scott. And in the past, they have used smear campaigns, misleading ads. We want them out of our elections.
My name's Steve Golub. I'm a co-organizer of this event. Valero poisoned our air. Now it's trying to poison our elections. We say we want clean elections. For 15 years, it poured toxic emissions into Benicians' air secretly. We only found out about this earlier this year, and now it's placing misleading, unfair ads online and in mailers. It continues its unfair campaign practices, which go back years. We say enough. Clean elections for Benicia.
I'm going to read a statement that Mayor Young has prepared for this rally. So pretend I'm Steve Young. The actions of the Valero PAC epitomize everything that is wrong with our politics. On a national scale, corporations are flooding swing states with massive money dumps to support Republican candidates and the election deniers. Locally, Valero, whose profits increased 500% last quarter while gas prices surged, has decided to use its PAC to once again interfere in Benicia's election in an attempt to have its favorite candidates reelected. I believe its ads are deceptive and meant to confuse voters. Additionally, once the community braced for the PAC's interference, it changed its name to further conceal its involvement. Ooh is right. One ad praises Valero's preferred candidates for protecting public safety, showing a person wearing a mask. But both of Valero's preferred candidates voted against the mask ordinance when it was first proposed at the start of the pandemic. And one candidate, Lionel Largaspada, supported bringing dangerous crude-by-rail oil trains into our city.
Boo! Get out of town!
But the worst, most deceptive ad showed all 5 current council members under a banner saying committee to re-elect Lionel Largaspada and Christina Strawbridge, clearly implying all 5 of us were behind that effort. This is despite the fact that Vice Mayor Campbell and myself are strongly supporting their 2 rivals, Carrie Birdseye and Terry Scott. Only Benicia voters can stop this type of malicious campaigning by firmly rejecting corporate interference. I urge all Benicians to pay attention to the fine print on these mailers and ads, to understand who is paying for the advertising, and to ask, why is it so important for Valero to influence our elections? And finally, to get out and vote.
3 things to start. First, Mayor Young and Vice Mayor Campbell endorsed just 2 candidates, Carrie Birdseye and Terry Scott, for City Council. As did the Democratic Party, by the way. Second, Valero has put out misleading ads, I believe through Facebook and certainly through mailers, that have tried to fool Benicians into thinking otherwise. As Kathy mentioned, they put photos together that make it seem like the mayor and vice mayor support other folks, but really the truth is that the mayor and vice mayor have endorsed Carrie and Terry. Third, if we can't trust Valero for the most basic information, like who endorsed who for city council, can we trust them with the health and safety of our kids, of our families, of our seniors, frankly including me, of our entire community? Answer that one for yourselves. I just want to mention a few more things. When it comes to straightforward information, bear in mind that for 15 years, Valero secretly spewed toxic emissions into our air, hundreds of times the legal limits, and we didn't find out until earlier this year. Bear in mind also that for 4 years, Valero fought tooth and nail for the crude by rail plan, which would have brought oil bomb trains through Benicia, called oil bomb, as you may know, partly because one such train exploded in a small Quebec town and killed 47 people. By the way, what we also know is that there have been at least 20 such derailments, and often these trains were bursting into flame in less than a decade. Another thing I want to emphasize for all of us is that this rally, this get-together, what we're doing is not against the good neighbors and good folks who work for Valero, who are Valero retirees, who work for other oil companies. I know a few of them. They're wonderful people. No, what it's about is a big Texas oil company that has made record profits off of jacking up the price at the pump that all of us pay. And what's it done in turn? It's taken that money and used it to try to influence our elections through its misleading and unfair ads, not just this year, but going back years. Something like $519,000 at least over the course of just 3 election cycles. I'll close with this. I promised I wouldn't go on for an hour, so I'm not. I'll close with this. Thank you, Roger. When we go home, in the days to come, it would be great if we do what we can to tell our friends, our neighbors.
That's what we want to hear.
To tell our friends and neighbors the truth that the mayor and vice mayor endorsed Carrie Birdseye and Terry Scott for city council, the truth that Valero has been trying to mislead people through photographs, through mailers, through Facebook, and try to tell all we know, both in person and through weighing in online at Facebook, at Nextdoor, at whatever sites you feel are appropriate. This is an incredible, wonderful, beautiful city, Benicia. We have no space, we have no place for a big Texas oil conglomerate trying to influence our elections. Let's keep our elections clean. Thanks and have a nice evening.
What do we want?
Valero out of our elections.
What do we want?
Valero,
Stop the deceit.
What do we want?
Valero, stop polluting our elections.
What do we want?
Clean elections. Let Benicians decide.
Citizens United was wrongly decided. Those that benefit from PACs hide something under their hat.
I have the distinct honor to address you merely to introduce the sweetheart of my life. Our current Benicia Poet Laureate, Mary Susan Gass.
Thank you so much. I do have a poem for this occasion, but sometimes it's good to take a moment and reflect on how the incidents in our lives intermesh with bigger things that keep going on. And I just had a birthday recently, so I have had time to look back on my life, and I find these 30-year cycles. And I recall in my history, in 1964, I went to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and registered people to vote. And the Voting Rights Act came out of that. That summer's action, and that's an applause for everybody who lived through that. In 1994, I went to South Africa and monitored the first open, free and fair elections in that country. And 30 years from that, dang, 2024 is coming right up. And it seems like we're going to be looking at those questions of the right to vote and the right to have our votes counted. So we're part of some big cycles in history, and this action we're taking today on one specific aspect of what it means to be able to vote your choice in an election. So, PAC money. Oh, the things PAC money can buy. Unbridled, unrestricted, polluted communication, candidate glorification, or vilification, needled and gouged, not queried or debated, slimed, or this year, insinuated, a positive spin, subtle positioning of photographic imaging to convey a false support. There can be but one retort when asked what things PAC money can't buy. I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy my vote.